Hello, and welcome back for another update of DeLorean 5510 restoration. So up front, just a couple of things that I got done this week. The first is that the sway bar is now properly installed on both ends. The other up here is the brakes. So I had the brakes on before, and now I have the brake pads. They're installed on both sides. Let's come around this way. Well, I might have to walk around more if I go here, but that's okay. The other big thing up here is the cooling pipes. So that cooling pipe didn't change, but this one here did. This one. So that cooling pipe, I was having a lot of issue with the new one, with it clearing the steering. Actually, let me zoom out. There we go. I was having a lot of issues with it clearing the steering column here. And so what I ended up doing is I actually went back to the old pipe that I had before. It had some pitting and stuff on it, so I used aluminum brazing rods to take care of those. And it seemed to do the trick. We'll find out once I actually start doing a pressure test of it. But that's all taken care of for now. Coming back here, the shifter. So the shifter now has an actual connection to the transmission. So before you would hit these and it would, I mean, really you're just like, moving the detents on here. But now it actually goes through and cycles the actual like transmissions gear setting. And that is all adjusted. I think everything over here... Oh, no, you know what? These hard lines, the brake hard lines back here, those are now in place and tightened up. And that's on both sides there. And looking back to those brakes, so the brake pads are now in there for the main brakes and also for the parking brakes. And I did what everyone suggested online, which is to file those down a little bit so they're at an angle. The parking brakes that were in there were just completely flat. So then the other big change. So last week I pretty much left off like I got the engine in in the area, and that was it. So all the transmission mounts are installed now and torqued, and the engine like bolts that connect to the mount, those are in place. Like diagnostic port is now in place. The dipstick for the transmission is in place. And you can also see that the exhaust crossover tube is here. And it has been wrapped in titanium wrap. It is not actually titanium. I'm pretty sure it's just regular fiberglass. But I figured since I removed the asbestos shield, it would be a good idea to keep the heat away from the body and into the exhaust. So I did that there. I'll walk around to the other side and show you the rest of the transmission. This is the fuel, like vapor line or whatever that is. And that goes to this canister back here. So all of these connections are set as they should be. This thing is like a bracket that goes on the back of the firewall, and it's got all the connectors and all that kind of stuff. Looking down into here, you can see that there's the drive shaft for the driver's side, and then the drive shaft for the passenger side right there. You can see the cooler is in place. This is the automatic transmission cooler. It's that black tube right there. That's actually a tube within a tube. So on the inside is just your normal coolant, and then on the outside is your automatic transmission fluid, your oil, and that's how it cools your transmission. Let's take a walk over to the other side here. Oh, actually, while I'm over here, let's take a look under the car, because this did change as well. Sorry, I can't actually see the screen, so I'm hoping you can see that the closing plate is installed. And you can see the coolant tubes there. The central little cooling tube bracket is not quite in place yet. Basically, I got sick of fiddling with it tonight, and I decided to call it an evening. All of these coolant pipes are over here. And so this is the expansion tank, and I've got the upgraded stainless steel one. Installed up here is also this system. So this is the bleeder system that comes off of the water pump. So yeah, so that little thing I was pointing out last week, that hooks up to this tube, and then you've got this little knob here, and you can use this to turn on and off the bleeder system. So this is from DeLorean Parts Northwest. All of these other tubes here are all new, and they are also all new stainless steel clamps and everything else. Sort of, if you look back here, this is the new exhaust tube. I used to have that old, like the stock crappy paper thing. Like I don't even know how or why that came with the car, but that's what it was. So well, I was going to show you this back here. So this is the catalytic converter, and that is also in quotes because this is hollow. When I tried to install this, which by the way, giant pain to install this thing. So it installs right here, right? So the problem is, the way that I did it is the previous owner had welded on some bolts onto that right there, and I thought they looked like crap, and so I took them off. And it turns out that they are actually supposed to be welded on there. So I have some new nuts and bolts and things coming so that I can weld that on there. It's literally impossible to put on if you try to do it with a nut on either end. There's just like not enough room to get any kind of a wrench in there. So let's see here. What am I missing? Oh, heater core tubes is the last thing on the list, and it's right there. I hope that didn't cancel my video. Okay. So yeah, so here's the heater core return line. I don't know if you can kind of see where that goes in there. Anyway, it just goes back into like the backside of the engine, or backside of the water pump basically. And then this line is the feed line for the heater, and it is controlled by this little valve right here. And this little valve has a vacuum tube that connects up to the front of the car. So when you set the heat on, it basically causes this little valve to open or close. I can't remember which way it goes, but it causes this to, there we go. Ooh, can you, like sneaking a look. There you go. So it causes this to open and close when your vacuum heater line comes on. And that opens that up and lets hot coolant head up to the front of the car. And I actually had an idea, and I'm hoping it works out. So normally when you take the frame, take the body off the frame, you have to completely drain the coolant system because your heater core is on the body and everything else is on the frame. And so this line here, so this is the line that comes, well, I don't know which is which. Actually, this is the supply line, this is the return line. What I did is I just got some pipe that was the same size and then clamped it here. So now I can completely fill the heater system, the coolant system, and test it out and pressure test it and everything else before I put the body back on. And then if I do it right, I've also got these little clamps that will basically clamp off right here. And if I do that on either side, I should be able to not really lose any coolant when I put the body on. Yeah, so, you know, it is really starting to look like a completed frame. There's not a ton left to do. Basically, I've got some brackets here, and this last little suspension component isn't connected. I don't have a bracket there, and I've got some exhaust work. But yeah, it's really getting close. So I'm thinking here in the next couple of weeks. The original plan was to be done this Friday, which is the 13th of November. That's not going to happen because, I mean, I'm missing those components, so it can't go back together. But yeah, like the next week after that, I think I'll be ready to get the body on the frame. And this frame will be rolling for sure here in a week. Basically, I could get it rolling right now if I put wheels on it. So yeah, we're getting really, really close. I'm very excited. I can't wait to actually drive this car. I have put a total of roughly, let's call it 20 miles on the car since I bought it. And that was mostly to DeLorean Parts Northwest and then back from it. It's about 10 miles away. And then I've driven it around the block about 3 or 4 times. So I'm really excited to see how it works with a brand new frame that's not all rusty, with fuel lines that aren't leaking all over the place, with brakes. So and a new transmission too. So yeah, I'm really excited. And I will see you in about a week with another update. Thanks for watching.